This is a review for the new $79 Kindle. We're going to see if we can make it a little better. Now, the first thing you should notice is this really needs some paragraphs. I think he tried to paragraph here, but it just didn't come off. In a book, a long format kind of thing, you can do paragraphs with indentation, but online, emails and such like, paragraphs with white space just really solve a lot of problems. They're free. Use a lot of them, especially online. So this is about as good as it can get for this price. I bought a new Kindle for my wife. I had read a lot of the reviews before buying. Quite a few of the reviews compared the new Kindle to the old one with the keyboard. Since I've never used the keyboard edition, I can't do that, but I will say the on-screen keyboard was the only thing I really didn't care for. All right, so as I've said before, in English, we're wired to get order in this meaning, this subject-verb-object construction. That sort of means that the first thing you start with needs to be the subject, or needs to be very closely related to the subject for the strongest writing. So we've started with the reason why he bought the Kindle. And that's not really what this is about. This is a review of the product itself. Now, it could be the case that if he was talking about how well the Kindle worked for his wife, and that's why he liked it, and it met the need and all that good stuff, then that would be a good place to start. It sort of segues into the subject. But this way, no. So let's take this and just move it for a moment. Set up. Grade 3 stars. So, what do we think about this? I would have to say, yeah, it can go. I'm going to power through this thing because it's a book, and if I don't, this is going to wind up being 25 minutes long, and nobody wants to watch that. I don't even want to do that. So if you're setting up a Kindle, yeah, all this. If you're setting up a Kindle, account you bought it under. Okay, we've got a theme here. Hook it up to the computer and do it that way. Try to use the on-screen keyboard, and it is not easy to use. Look at how we can cut all these words out. The on-screen keyboard is not easy to use. Plus being familiar with how to navigate it. And being unfamiliar with how to navigate yeah, doesn't help. I did find connecting to Wi-Fi really easy though, and had no problems. Okay, see, this is interesting. So we've got this thought here. I've seen a few reviews that have been critical in respect to Wi-Fi connections, but I thought it was really easy and solid. Okay, so we got two things. One, we don't need him to read us or write us the other reviews or a summary or a précis of them. We just need his thoughts. And the thought winds up being, I thought it was really easy and solid, which means, which is really the same thing this sentence said. So we can cut that out too. Do we really need do we really need that? 3 stars. Setup. I don't know that the reviews on Amazon give you the ability to do this, but some kind of heading like this obviously would make this a lot simpler because it's so long. So set up a navigation. Maybe this is this just really use? Yeah, it probably is. Use. This is probably just me. Yes, of course, it is just you. You don't need to say that anymore. We're writing a review. You just write it. Just we want this guy's opinion. I do if I'm thinking about buying this. He doesn't have to keep apologizing for it. Waste space. It took me a while to figure out that push down, not in. That's really fascinating. That is actually, you know, if you make that mistake, that's great. I think that's wonderful. Especially if you're interested in interface design or anything. That's really interesting insight. Let's see. I think that having the double sets page is not very intuitive. Paging back. I think you could just want. Okay. Let's see. So the double set of keys on each side of the device. See how we can just get rid of the. Once I figure that out, it took me a while to figure out the page push down, not in. Yeah. See, real estate is at a premium in this review too, because people are, you know, they're trying to get through it and they're trying to get the information out of it. Double set of keys on each side of the device. Page 4, page 8. The set. The double set. It's not very intuitive. I would hit the page forward on the left-hand side, thinking I was paging back. Not very intuitive. Let's just put a period there. It's not a. It's a duplicated set. I think is really the perfect word you want there. Set of keys on. Both sides of the device. There's a weird verb thing going on there. The duplicated set of keys on both sides of the device. So because both sides of the device are there, it makes me, you know, on both sides. Are we talking about the? It makes that seem like it wants to be are, but I think it really wants to be is. This is another one of those nitpicky little things that. Very important to my proofreader, probably not very important to anyone reading this review. So, I would hit the page forward on one side, less paging back. I think you could just point to simpler. Okay. Oops. Downloading Kindle and Content Store, 5 stars. I found browsing and purchase to be very easy and quick. So, this is another perfect example. If there's not a lot to say about it other than that, then cut it out. So, reading, 5 stars. My initial and very limited reading in the Kindle. Had it on full soul. I've also read some of the reviews about ghosting between. I did not notice this to be much of a problem. A few hours at a time. This is another example. We can just take this out. Bang. I did not find ghosting. See and watch. So this is a verb question. What really is the verb in this part of the sentence? You know, I did not find ghosting to be a problem, but I have not sat with it and read for a few hours at a time. So what he's really saying is I have not read. for a few hours at a time. Overall, I think it's solid 4 stars. The size is just perfect. My wife can stick it in her purse. It's not so wide or heavy. Heavy that it would be uncomfortable to hold for a long period of time. So the size is just perfect. Sort of implies this. It's not so wide or heavy that it would be comfortable. Let's see. I do think the navigation could be improved. Yes. And the on-screen keyboard is clunky to use. Yes, you mentioned that. But if you intend to take a lot of notes, yeah. So we can just get to this point. If you intend to take a lot of notes, I would buy the old keyboard version or wait for the touch and see how people review its keyboard. You can't beat this Kindle for its price if you are looking for a basic e-reader. So now we're left with this little bit right down here, and I don't think we need it. Since I've never used the keyboard, I think we might be losing something. So we can put this here. Check this out. This is really nice. The on-screen keyboard, yes. It's the one thing I do not really care for. The weird pronoun thing here. I mean, it's conversational, so it's not that much of a problem. If you intend a lot of notes, I would recommend the keyboard version, or wait for the touch and see how people review its keyboard. I would do this also. There we go. Now, if somebody bails out of the document early, you really get the whole point across. Bails out of the review. It feels like a document, though, because it's so long. So, if you like, look back at the beginning and see how we've made it shorter and hopefully a little clearer, and see what you think.